want to show you something. There's 3 things that I want you to remember as you go home today. And one is simply this. Now, I've got one ball in my hand, and this one ball represents the one thing that I want you to remember, and it's real simple. That one thing is something we talked about yesterday. How many does it take? One bad thing to keep me out of. Okay, now let's try that again. How many does it take? One bad thing to keep you, me, out of heaven. So I want you to remember, guys, it only takes one bad thing. Now, earlier today, there were a couple of y'all that came and you talked to one of your leaders, and because you had questions, I'm not sure I'm going to heaven. And they talked to you, and we had several this afternoon or this morning who prayed to give their life to Jesus. Guys, that is the best thing that you can ever do. Guys, I want you to give them a hand. Isn't that awesome? Now, there's a second thing that I want you to remember, and it's this. And we talked about it earlier today. You know, not everybody is going to heaven, but only those who've received Jesus as their Lord and Savior. So let's pretend that this is 2 different people right here. We'll name one Martha, and we'll name the other one Jack. So we've got Martha right here, and we've got Jack right there. Now, on the outside, Martha and Jack, they look a lot alike. In fact, they even hang around in the same circles. They go some of the same places, even take some of the same trips. But Martha and Jack are very different. Even though they may have the same skin color, same hair color, same eye color, same smell, even though they might even come out of the same family, they're very different because Martha has given her life to Jesus. And because of that, Martha knows for sure she's going to heaven. Her sins have been forgiven, but Jack has not. Jack is a good guy. Martha's a good girl. You know what? They both go to church. They both sit in Sunday school. You see, they hang around the same people, go to the same places, but they're not the same. Martha has received God's gift of salvation. And because of that, she knows for sure she's going to heaven because she's given her life to Jesus. Jack has never done that. Now, right now, I want you to look at these 2 balls, and I want you to think about this. Who are you more like? Maybe you're a good person like Martha and Jack. Maybe you hang around similar people. Maybe you're even in the same family as some others that you know Jesus. But are you more like Martha because you've given your life to Jesus, or are you more like Jack? In other words, do you know for sure that you're going to heaven? So 2 things I want you to remember. One, everybody, how many does it take? One bad thing to keep you, me, out of heaven. The second thing is you can take 2 people that look the same, but they can be very different if one's given their life to Jesus and one hasn't. Now, the third thing that I want you to see is this. When I started juggling, I went in my room. I'd seen somebody juggling. And I went in my room, and I didn't have balls like these. And I went in my room, and I grabbed 2 little paint containers. I mean, about the size of those Tootsie Rolls. And I started throwing them up in the air, and they were flying everywhere, and they're hitting on the ground. And, you know, paint containers are not the best thing to start juggling with because they hit, they open, they spill. It's not a good thing. And I remember in there thinking, this is impossible. And then adding the third one, it's so hard. I remember thinking, it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's just not easy. It's a little more difficult than what some people might think, but not impossible. You see, guys, there's lots of hard things in life, but there's very few things that are absolutely impossible. And the most impossible thing of all is this. It is impossible for you to save yourself. It is impossible for you to get to heaven on your own. There's only one way. Everybody say one way. And the only way that you can go to heaven is by giving your life to Jesus.